I need to do that. One of the important things that I always guide by is a statement by Abraham Lincoln. I'm sure you all know that he made a tremendous contribution to the American society by emancipating slavery. And in that he said, the principles of the past are inadequate for the current present. And the occasion is piled high with huge responsibility and with difficulty, and we must rise with occasion. And as our case is new, and we must think anew and act anew. And I don't say this because Abraham Lincoln said it 150 years ago. I think those comments are extremely important. Abraham Lincoln said, once again, the dogmas of the past, whatever were the principles of the past, are not sufficient to deal with the current situation. We need to be more fresh, we need to be more dynamic, and we need to be more challenging in how we are going to respond to the demands of the issues that are going to come up in our present. So there is a lot of discussion about IFRS in our country, and there is a lot of debate. Not a day goes by where the IASB communications department sends me the press clippings, somebody said about in India about IFRS. Not a day goes by that I get those comments. And I have to tell you that to some extent, I'm disappointed with the debate in India about IFRS, and that the reasons are many. I don't need to go into it, but by this time, you all must have formed your own opinions and your own decisions regarding how IFRS is going to impact India. Friends, let me tell you from a perspective which could be unique, and you might have not heard of this perspective from several others. The reason behind is that I did my articles from a small accounting firm. I was a partner at a big 4 accounting firm in San Francisco, and I'm a board member at IASB. And I do get a chance to interact with several people in several parts of the world, and I do see opportunities and challenges in India slightly more different than the others. So please pay attention to what I say. At times, I might come across as if I'm negative towards the way things are happening in India. It is not my intention to be negative, but it is my intention to implore this crowd that Mohandas Pai just asked us to say that this is the defining movement. And I just want to make sure that I present the case of both the opportunities and challenges to you in a manner that will put this in a different perspective. Let me speak about opportunities. Mohan touched on a couple of the opportunities, but what opportunities that I see from the perspective of my interactions from various people outside the world, let me share some of them with you. One is the outsourcing, and Mohan touched on that a few minutes ago. Let me give you some numbers. Let me give you some perspective on that. I truly believe if Obama comes to know that the opportunity that we as Indians are sitting on, he would be very, very careful in his decision to let US go for IFRS. And I'm not saying this as a matter of joke. I say this seriously. We in India are sitting on a golden mountain if only we do few things correctly. And I say this very, very seriously, because the opportunities that we have for outsourcing in India is humongous. And I'll tell you, not too long ago in Amsterdam, less than 3 months ago or 4 months ago, I was at a conference with the 25 top companies in the world, 25 top companies in the world. The audit committee chairmen, I was asked to address with somebody else, the 25 top audit committee chairmen of the world. And I asked them one question at the end of the conference: how many of you believe that if India adopts IFRS, you will consider moving books to India? And 20 out of 25 of them said they would be very seriously considering moving books to India if India adopts IFRS. So I say this from a fact, and I say this, and I sometimes wonder whether I should quit my job as an ISB board member and start an outsourcing company, because the money opportunity is that huge. So please do not underestimate that. But it is not going to come to us, and I can tell you this very openly, it's not going to come to us just because India's reputation as an IT capital. because many companies are going to question what is India's capability. How is the India's capability going to be decided? India's capability is going to be decided by the amount of education that our students are going to get. That means, is the CA exam going to be under IFRS? Are our chartered accountants getting enough training in the thing? I know the institute is doing tremendous job of training, but my personal feeling is that we need to go little bit more in depth in understanding the IFRS. It's just not a training for a 1 day or 2 day. It needs to be a more in-depth training. We need to do that. We need to ensure that our CA exam is done. We need to ensure that our BCom and BBA, Bachelor of Business Administration, courses are taught in the IFRS. And that's when we are going to get the real bang for the buck. Let me give you a small number. 8,000 companies in Europe adopt IFRS. Only 28 companies have a small carve-out, but 8,000 companies adopt IFRS. Countries like United Kingdom are going to mandate IFRS not only for their publicly listed companies, but also for their private companies. Forget United States for a second. If United States does come, when it comes, that's another big opportunity. But just think of it, 8,000 companies in Europe have adopted IFRS. If a fraction of those companies come to India, look at the opportunity we are sitting on. But be aware that it's not going to come to us unless we do it. We do manner of educating them that not only our chartered accountants, but our accounting undergraduate students are also taught in IFRS. That's something we need to think about. The second benefit that I do see, I don't know, standing in Kerala and talking about international employment opportunities may not be a very sensible thing, because Kerala